Now, in the previous lesson on set, we keyed in S equals set 1, 2, 3. Type of S was class set. Then we took the output from dir of S, this guy here, and assigned it to A. Then we said y equals 0, and we created a loop for each object in A. We increment y, and we print out y and that each object. Then we ran this, and we got a list of all the methods available in S. And we want to go over a few of these today. Copy and difference. We'll do that first. So the first thing I'll do is key in S equals curlies 1, 2, 3, close curlies. And we've got our first S. And that's our set. Type of S is set. Now I want to take the value y. I want to make that equal to the following. Mr. S, yes, make a copy of your silly self and send it over to y. And now I've got y. What type of structure is y? Whoops, y. And I get it also is a set. Well, I'm going to now add the number 9, 9, to y. Now, S, y tells me S has 1, 2, 3 in it, and y has 1, 2, 3, 9 in it. Now I want to ask the question, Mr. Y, this guy here, what do you got that Mr. S doesn't have? That's the question I want to ask. And this is how I ask it. Mr. Y, yes, what's the difference between you and Mr. S? What do you got that Mr. S ain't got? And the answer is 9. And that's what we get. Now I can P equals curlies 5, 6, 7. I'm going to ask the same question again. Mr. Y, what is it that you got that Mr. P doesn't got? What he ain't got? 1, 2, 3, and a 9, because that don't exist in P. So he's saying, Mr. Y, what is the difference between you and Mr. P? What is it that you got that Mr. P doesn't got? Tell me what that difference is. And Mr. Y says, I've got 1, 2, 3, and 9, and Mr. P does not have that at all. He's got that. I've got this, and he don't got that. And one more time, Mr. Y, what's the difference between you and Mr. S? What is it that you got that Mr. S doesn't got? And the answer is a 9. All right, but where do you two guys, Mr. Y and Mr. S, where do you two guys intersect? What are the values that both of you have? Ah, that's what I'd like to find out. What's your intersection? So, Mr. Y, where do you and Mr. S have any intersection? Well, I look over here, S is equal to 1, 2, 3, and here Y is equal to 1, 2, 3, 9. It seems to me they intersect, they match, in these values there, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that is indeed what we get. Oh, that's exactly what we get. Tell me more about Mr. S and Mr. Y. Here's Mr. S. He's got 1, 2, 3. And here's 1, 2, 3 in Y and a 9. So you could say that S is a subset of Y. You could say that. Well, then let's ask the question. Mr. S, yes, is you or is you not a subset of Mr. Y? And he's going to tell me true or false. True, he says. It's true. I is a subset of Mr. Y. All of my values are included in his values, and he's got even more. If I asked that the opposite way, if I said, Mr. Y, is you or is you not a subset of Mr. S, he would say 1, 2, 3, 9. Are all those values in S? No, they're not. I is not a subset of Mr. S. So Mr. Y is not a subset of Mr. S. And I get a false. Well then, Mr. Y, is you then a superset of Mr. S? I mean, do you have all the values of S and more? The answer to that is yes, true. Y is a superset of S, and I get it true. Well, over here we see that P is equal to 5, 6, 7, and we know that S is equal to 1, 2, 3. Let's create a union between these two and assign it to B. B will be equal to Mr. S. Make a union between yourself and Mr. P and assign that to B. What's in B? I'll lay dollars to donuts. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. And there it is. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we have covered difference, intersection, is subset, and is superset, and union today in this lesson. Well, we've only got a few more to do here before we press on.